Hi, everybody. I'm Representative Jeremy Munson. Hey, I live south of Mankato on a farm between Lake Crystal and Medelia. My district's 1,000 square miles, a lot of small towns, nothing over 5,000 people. So all of our main streets are shuttered because of these orders. I need to tell you about somebody in my household that actually supported the governor's stay-at-home orders and his restrictions on elective surgeries. His name is Leo. He's about 9 months old. My daughter bought a puppy last summer, and he had an appointment to have him neutered in late March. So, and you imagine Leo was pretty excited when these bans on executive surgeries went in play on that Friday. And then the next week in the morning, I heard our standard poodle and Leo downstairs, my daughter screaming, "They're stuck together!" So this morning, yesterday night, Leo had his surgery, so he's wearing the cone of shame. And this morning at 4 a.m. we were awoken because our poodle, our standard poodle, Olive, gave birth to 10 labradoodles. So Leo's still upset about the executive orders, but we have labradoodles. Greta with 2 T's, GretaMunson@gmail.com if you would like to purchase a labradoodle. She's 9. But the sad thing about this morning is that my daughter, having all these poodles and getting excited about selling them, asked me a question in all seriousness. She said, "Dad, do I have to get permission from the government to sell the puppies?"
Oh my God.
That's what we're teaching our children, about control of government, about growth of government, about interfering with our lives, that I have a 9-year-old asking me if she is free to sell puppies. This is the wrong message. I'm about freedom. I oppose these orders from the beginning, and I want to let you know how this started. I serve on the HHS committee with Glenn Grunhagen, and he's a great member to have on that committee because we challenge the growth of government all the time. But the governor brought forward a bill in the HHS committee that asked for permission to declare a peacetime emergency due to a public health crisis. Because that is not in law that allows him to do that. It allows him to declare a public health emergency in times of flood, natural disaster, chemical spills, industrial failures, where the local communities can't take care of it. Nowhere in there is a public health crisis. There's questions on whether he should be able to do this. That law was put in place after Hurricane Katrina because we wanted to be able to respond quickly when the legislature is out of session. But the governor is going to drag this on possibly for years. COVID's not going away. This is about freedom. The governor shouldn't have unilateral lawmaking authority outside of our Republican-controlled Senate. The governor should not have the ability to change our election law unilaterally and usurp the legislature. We have 3 branches of government, executive, judicial, and legislative, for a reason. This is about controlling a power. We didn't suspend our Constitution during the Civil War. We didn't suspend our Constitution under other acts of disaster. This is so important to our republic that we retain the power in the legislature. The legislature has the ability to each vote to take back those powers. And in the House, we brought that up twice now for a vote. And twice, every single Democrat voted against it. Now, there's a lot of people out there, my brother included, who've never voted. And people get involved in politics when they're touched by government. If you're touched in a good way, sometimes you become a Democrat because government means something good to you. But when you're touched in a bad way by government, you tend to be more of a conservative, small government, limited government Republican. And let me tell you, people, there are a lot of people in Minnesota that were touched by government in a really bad way this year. We need to educate people on our Constitution, what a republic means and what freedom means. And that we have to take a stand to end the peacetime emergency so that the governor doesn't have the authority to sit and write laws over the next year on whatever he wants to do. Every time the pressure builds, the governor can relieve that pressure by softening one of his executive orders. But we need to end the peacetime emergency so that he doesn't have this power. And we need to bring forward legislation to change Chapter 12 in law, to change it so that the governor, when he does declare a peacetime emergency and his little executive council approves it, that it must also be approved by the legislature and not just given to each chamber to have to both vote to overrule him. Because Democrats in the House will never overrule someone of their own party. But we need to have the legislature to have power back again, and that means ending the peacetime emergency and educating our children about what government really means and what it's there for, the core function of government and not to overrule people and close businesses down and pick winners and losers in government. We need to get money out of politics, and believe me, when the governor has this authority, he fills up the trough for lobbyists and special interest groups to feed on, to get their businesses open, to get their special treatment, and that's unfair to Main Street businesses, and to freedoms, and to religion, and every other right that's protected under the Constitution. So thank you so much for coming out today. I hope the rain stays off, and thank you for listening to all of our legislators here that are standing for freedom. Thank you so much.